Hey y'all, welcome to Sandy's Library. I'm Sandy, and today we're going to have another spiritual chat where we're going to talk some more about divine partners or twin flames and a little bit about how soul groups or soul families are formed. And just as a quick reminder, these are things that my guides have shared with me. And John, my knowledge of the spirit world is limited. There's a lot going on there that I don't know anything about and couldn't understand it even if I did know about it. Not here in the 3D anyway. That said, my guides want me to share what I do know, so that's what I'm doing. Okay, so in the last spiritual chat video, I talked a bit about the source and how souls are created. But as for the why of it all, I really don't know a whole lot about that beyond. The source created individual souls because it wants to know itself and to explore free will. And in that endeavor, the source also created divine partners. But here in the 3D, we have a tendency to call them twin flames. But whatever you call them, they're one and the same. The source creates divine partners so it can further explore the concept of free will. It's a basic concept, really. I mean, you take two individual souls who are made of the very same thing at their core. You separate them and give them free will on their path home. What will happen as each soul progresses and makes its way back to each other and the source? And now, just imagine that happening over and over and over. And to the best of my knowledge, y'all, it never stops. It's the same concept with each energy signature, too, that the source releases. Each has the free will to travel the road back home, however they see fit. So, how does an energy signature go from being ejected from the source, for lack of a better way to say it, to forming two complete and individual souls, and then separating them and placing them into two different soul groups or soul families? Two, separating the divine partners and putting them into unrelated soul groups. Some people call them soul groups, others call them soul families. Whatever you call them, though, they're the same thing. And to be honest, I resonate with both terms. But anyway, based on the visual representations that my guides have shown me, when a ball of energy is ejected from the source, and with its own unique energy signature. And y'all, when I use words like ejected, divides, splits, don't put too much stock into that because these are just 3D labels and I don't have anything else to use to describe this to y'all. But anyway, this unique energy signature divides and splits into two separate and individual souls who are, at their core, exactly the same. But y'all, my guides say this is not one soul split in half. It's two unique individuals who are basically the same at their core. And what makes the two of them unique to each other in the spirit world is that one is the divine masculine and the other is the divine feminine. And I'm not talking about male or female, man or woman. Those are 3D labels. I'm talking about something entirely different. I'm talking about energy. And just like energy, here in the 3D, the spirit world, it has its own form of polarity too. So basically, the simple version is we have two polarities emerging from the source together and at the same time. These two polarities are the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And no, Again, I am not talking about male or female or man or woman. I'm talking about energy. Think of the positive and negative ends of a battery, which requires activity and receptivity. Well, in the spirit world, the divine masculine is the activity, while the divine feminine is the receptivity. That's why divine masculine are doers and divine feminines are thinkers. And remember, y'all, we are not separated from our divine counterpart for the sole purpose of reuniting with them. And while that is a perk that we work to achieve in the spirit world, but y'all, it is not the overall goal. It may be one of many end goals, but it's not the overall goal. The overall goal is all about the source, y'all, and its exploration of free will. So, there will be incarnations where you and your divine partner were not meant to spend together. Hell, sometimes we're not even supposed to run across each other here in 3D. But of course, since we do have the law of free will here in the 3D, and that pull between twin flames or divine partners is so incredibly strong. I mean, you are made of the same thing after all. So it's quite possible that you may end up being pulled together here in the 3D when it wasn't part of the primary path that you carved out for this incarnation. Let me try to explain it like this. When my soul decided to come down here as Sandy, and I say that metaphorically, but there were an endless number of paths carved out that I could have taken, and all are valid paths too. But there is only one primary path. That's the one you designated as the first choice to travel down for the lessons you've chosen to undertake in a given lifetime. And honestly, y'all, they're all happening somewhere right now. But that's for another video. Let's get back to the initial separation between the divine partners. And y'all, on this, my guides tell me that there are no souls who are split in half, okay? They said that's just not, no. Okay, so, when the energy signature separates, here's what I see. Each unique energy signature shoots out from the source in this little ball of light. And then the energy signature splits into two complete and individual souls that shoot out in opposite directions in the spirit world. And they land, again, for a lack of a better term, inside individual soul groups or soul families. Think of it like landing in a house in a neighborhood of the spirit world, and everybody who lands inside the same house comprises one soul group or soul family. And the souls in the neighboring houses are your extended family and friends. So, no, not everybody knows everybody else in the spirit world. Not in the traditional sense, anyway. And just to be clear, you and your divine counterpart are thrown into two very different and distinct areas of the spirit world. These areas are unrelated neighborhoods where the bulk of the souls inside each neighborhood rarely interact with the souls in the other. That may well be why, if you have met your divine partner here in the 3D, and they seem to have ties to other people that you just can't understand, well, you got to remember, they've got ties to their soul family and friends, just like you do. So, in light of this, for the two of you to come together here in 3D and travel down a productive path, it's going to take a whole lot of work. And I hate to tell you twin flamer types, but union with your divine counterpart here in the 3D is the exception rather than the rule. Look, it ain't about you in your divine counterpart. Our existence, I hate to tell y'all this, but it's all about the infinite creator. Now that said, do we need to find our way back to our divine counterpart in the spirit world? Well, the short answer is sort of. But in the overall scheme of things, we find our way back to each other and the source through incarnations. And yes, that was plural. From what I've been told, y'all, not every soul in the spirit world is incarnating, though. Let's take my guides, for instance. And let me just say, y'all, time is not linear in the spirit world. But for better understanding, they have given me numbers to work with. Willibeth says her last substantial incarnation was about 800 of our years ago. And she freely admits that she has nowhere near the level of knowledge or enlightenment that Joey and Grace, a divine couple, have. Like I said in earlier videos, I do know their spirit world names, but here in the 3D, I like to call them Joey and Grace, and they know why. And their last substantial incarnations were around 10,000 of our years ago. Now that said, they do make brief but meaningful appearances here in the 3D to help out their charges. But they're incarnating for their own lessons. Well, that time has long since passed. So anyway, I'm getting off track, but let's get back to the soul groups. Let's look at it like this. In the spirit world, the energy signature that comprises me and my divine counterpart has just been ejected from the source. And then we form two complete and whole individual souls and go our separate ways. It's also worth noting that in the spirit world, you're never truly separate from other beings. Not like here in the 3D anyway. In the spirit world, if you want someone, all you got to do is think of them, and they're there. But anyway, I go off by myself and land in this neighborhood of the spirit world with some other newly created souls. And basically, we form a soul family, for lack of a better way to say it. And soul groups are comprised of typically, I'm told, 5 to 8 individual souls who are roughly the same age of creation. So we're all learning similar lessons together. And I say I'm told because I don't know how many souls my soul group consists of. Over the course of my life, I've only ever ran across a couple of people who I recognized on a deeper, more subconscious level upon our first meeting. And one of them was my divine counterpart who, remember, does not reside in my soul group. But these individuals from my soul group, they are the people that I'll spend most of my incarnations with, just not this one. I have been told I'm trying to go it alone, which is why I feel so alone in the world. Even though I have people around me who love me, and I love them, I still feel alone. And y'all, the difference between soul families and 3D families is there's never any dysfunctional holiday dinners. There's only love, harmony, and unity, which is why we incarnate for the experience of it all. Because, remember, the infinite creator wants to know itself. And if y'all want to know more about that, listen to my series on the Law of One. This explains my belief system. And because it's so involved and detailed, I may not get back to another spiritual chat for a while. But once we're done with the Law of One, the spiritual chats will pick back up. Well, at least for as long as I'm here. So, until next time, later gators.